another episode of Creature Feature. I'm your host, Safari Sam, and today we're going to talk about Redford Naturals. So, Redford Naturals is Pet Supplies Plus branded dog food. They come in 4 different varieties, from brown rice, grain-free, limited ingredient with ancient grains, and limited ingredient grain-free. We're going to talk a little bit about each one of these today and how they're going to benefit your dog and how you guys can better make conversions to your neighbors. So first and foremost, we have our original recipe. This is a standard brown rice recipe. Now it's important to remember, all Redford Naturals is USA made. There's no artificial colors, flavors, or preservatives, and there's no corn, soy, or wheat. Plus, it's rich with omega-3s and 6s that'll help your dog's skin and coat. They come in chicken, salmon, lamb, duck, and beef recipe for all of your with grain flavors. And then of course, your grain-free diet, salmon, chicken, lamb, duck, beef, and venison, which are great for those dogs who are really picky eaters. For your limited ingredient with oatmeal, you have your chicken, salmon, beef, lamb, and duck. So let's talk a little bit about what each of these kind of flavors are and how they may better impact your pet. Your chicken and brown rice recipe is the most standard recipe and comparable to almost every other food that we sell in the store, and that should be your easiest conversion. This is your standard base dog food. They utilize the added omega-3s and 6s and added vitamins and minerals to keep your pet super healthy and living a long time. You'll notice that we have varieties ranging from puppy to senior, adult, and all life stages. That means puppy all the way through senior. Now the basic recipe stays the same for most every bag within its variety, of course. The only thing that really changes out is your protein. Now your gray bags are a multi-source protein, so that means if you have a dog with allergies, this might not be the best bag for them. This will utilize chicken as well as turkey or as well as salmon. It'll have different animals contributing to this protein source. That's also the same for your grain-free variety. These black bags. These have the same basic makeup, but instead of utilizing that brown rice, they utilize a potato base. That's going to increase your protein levels and give a little bit more vitamins and minerals to your dogs. Now these are also multi-source protein, so that means it is not single source. So a dog with allergies, this may not be the most beneficial. Again, you have your chicken, lamb, salmon, duck, venison, and red meat. We're going to talk a little bit about what it means between small breed, large breed, puppy, senior, and all life stages. Now, of course, we all know what a small breed dog is, a small little dog. And of course, we know what a large breed dog is, a very big dog. But how exactly do you know what's best for your dog? I always say it goes by weight and, of course, what the breed of dog is. So a Chihuahua may not benefit from a large breed recipe that has an extra glucosamine for your hip and joints, whereas a golden retriever or even a Newfoundland may not benefit from a small breed diet because those pieces of kibble might just be a little too small. Of course, we know that our senior recipe, which is brand new, has an extra glucosamine to keep those hip and joint moving perfectly smooth, as well as the added taurine for the heart health. Taking a peek now at our grain-free recipes, remember these are a multi-source protein. This is one of our older recipes as well, and these are fantastic, and these match pretty evenly with most of our other natural foods in the store. I would say this is most comparable to Taste of the Wild, Earthborn, even Blue Wilderness, because it's utilizing multiple different animals in the recipe to elevate that protein level. And again, these come in an all life stages recipe. So what exactly does that mean? It means you can go from puppy all the way up to senior, and it will tailor to your dog's needs. We do make a puppy recipe, however, so if you do have a younger dog who needs a little bit of that extra DHA, the added growth hormone to help stimulate brain development, there's definitely a recipe for you. And all of these recipes have smaller bites of kibble, so if you have a small dog who has a harder time eating, or even a larger dog like my two who loves to inhale their food, it's less likely for them to choke and easy for digestion. Now let's take a look at some of my favorite bags of Redford. These are going to be our brand new limited ingredient with oatmeal. This is fantastic. Now I always tell everyone, when you're on a diet, what would you rather eat, oatmeal or brown rice? The answer is simple, it's always oatmeal. Oatmeal is a very easy to digest grain. It doesn't sit in the gut very long and passes through just as smooth as it would for us. Now salmon is always my go-to. The first thing you want to identify with dogs as they have allergies is are they having a physical reaction? you're gonna see things like ear infections, itchy and scratchy, dandruff, some very dry hairs, and of course very dry nails, as well as seeing them bite or scratch themselves fairly often. Hot spots are always common, and you can start to see a little bit of hair loss from where they've been scratching. First and foremost, it's important to recognize that most dogs do not have food allergies. In fact, most dogs with allergies are actually allergic to everything outside. Pollens and grasses and trees and leaves and all of the things that you and I might be allergic to, where we might need to take a Zyrtec or a Benadryl, same thing with your dogs. But there is a small percentage of dogs, and now growing even bigger, who do have sensitivities to certain proteins. That's where your limited ingredient diet is really going to come into play. These guys are a single source animal protein. So what that means is instead of these that are multi-source, it's going to utilize one form of protein. So your salmon will not have chicken, and your chicken will not have beef. It's strictly chicken or salmon, beef, lamb, etc. These guys are great for determining what exactly it is if your dog has allergy or special needs. Not to mention, those added omegas are fantastic for skin and coat, and it will definitely help clear up any of that dandruff or itchy skin. And of course, we always recommend a vet visit as well if you notice things are not improving. Now, while salmon is always my go-to, I will say that beef and lamb are definitely more palatable. So if you have a picky eater, you can actually rotate out your proteins as long as you are not introducing a protein that your dog may have a sensitivity to. The other thing is all of our brand new bags of our limited ingredient with oatmeal also have added taurine for heart health, which is really important. We all know about the DCM scare that happened late last year, so it's important that we recommend to our neighbors a solid brand of food that we can trust and stand behind that says, we have the added taurine and vitamins and minerals, so you don't need to worry. These bags come in an all life stages recipe, which is great, especially if your dog does have a sensitive tummy, and we know most dogs with allergies or special needs do. This means you can keep them consistently on the same food all the way through their life. Again though, featuring the same great guarantee that Redford has. All USA made, no artificial colors, flavors, or preservatives, and no corn, soy, or wheat. It's a natural-based food with a higher protein than fat content, which is great, especially if you have those dogs who love to run around and do those zoomies all day long. Now, one of my other favorites, of course, is your limited ingredient grain-free diet. This is going to be a huge staple for dogs that are already on a grain-free diet, but you start to notice maybe developing those allergies or underlying skin conditions. Same as this, it's a single source animal protein. So what you see on the bag is exactly what you're getting. Less ingredients, single source. Same great product, all USA made, no artificial colors, flavors, or preservatives, and no corn, soy, or wheat. However, this now utilizes a sweet potato as it's much easier to digest on the tummy as opposed to your regular standard potato, and it helps keep the calorie content much lower. So what makes Redford Naturals a natural food? Well, it's all about the quality of ingredients that are put into it. Remember, when you're reading a nutrition label, your first 5 ingredients are the most important and what is the most present in the food, and they should always be a solid protein source mixed with either a grain or a really good vegetable. You don't want to see ingredients like corn, wheat, soybean, or gluten meal within your first 5 ingredients, because that will bring down the nutritional value of your food. Now, how do you make a conversion? That seems to always be the hardest part, and I'll tell you my secret here in Haverhill, it's just talking to your neighbors. So let me give you a perfect example. Hi, is there anything I can help you find today?
Hi, my dog's been scratching his ears a lot lately. He's been scratching his toes a lot. My vet did recommend he might potentially have a food allergy, so I was looking to switch my food.
We are definitely in a great place to start. This is one of my top favorite brands in the store, and we could definitely find something to help. Now, it's important to remember that most dogs this time of year are having a lot of allergies to things outside. So that's going to be your pollens and your grasses, things like you or I would have. But for dogs who are starting to develop those food allergies, or if your vet has recommended it, we make a fantastic limited ingredient diet that can actually really, really help. Now, what kind of dog do you have?
I have a pitty mix.
Oh, so cute. Can I see a picture?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Right here he is.
Oh my gosh, look at his little face. How old is he?
He's about 2 now.
What's his name? I love him.
He is little Max.
Oh my God, you have to bring him in. We do nail trims, so if you ever need his nails done, please bring him in. He's so cute. But I can definitely see he's got some red spots on him. So I would say he may have a sensitivity to some of the food he's on. Now, is the food that you're currently on a grain-based or grain-free?
So it's a grain base at the moment.
Okay.
He's been having a lot of chicken. My vet recommended maybe jump off the chicken, see if he does well on something else.
Definitely. So if he's already on a food that has grains, we want to keep him on something that has the same sort of grain base. So what I would recommend in that case is trying a salmon and oatmeal recipe. This stuff is a single source animal protein, which means there is no chicken added. Where most pitties actually have a sensitivity to chicken, this one excludes it in the recipe. It's strictly salmon. Now the other good thing, it has taurine for added heart health, and then of course all USA made with no artificial colors, flavors, or preservatives, and there's no corn, soy, or wheat. Now Redford has a couple really cool programs as well, so you can always try the food, and if your dog doesn't like it, come back and return it. There's no hassle. However, if your dog really does like the food, and after a couple weeks you do start to see an improvement, we actually have a program with our Neighbor Rewards card for buying 12 bags, and your 13th bag is totally free.
That's amazing. That sounds perfect.
It's an amazing deal. Now, I want you to take a peek at the back of the bag. Remember that the food you're already on is not this brand, so you do need to transition your dog. On the back of the bag, it'll explain days 1 all the way through 7, 75-25, 50-50, 25-75, and of course 100% Redford. This is really important because most dogs who do have allergies tend to have very sensitive tummies, so you want to slowly transition them. But I recommend this brand highly. It's one of my absolute favorites, and both my dogs have been using it for a long time. So grab a bag and let's give it a try.
Yeah, definitely.
Alright guys, it's just that easy. Just talk to your neighbors. Everything makes your day go by so much better when you're having fun, interacting with neighbors and their pets, and learning all about their pets' needs. I personally love Redford for my dogs, and I encourage everybody to give it a try if you haven't already. Now remember, once you have that conversion, you always want to follow it through with a carryout, as well as bringing them out on register and circling that survey down at the bottom. Alright guys, my name is Safari Sam, and you guys have been watching Creature Feature, where we talked about Redford Naturals dog food. If you guys have any questions, never hesitate to ask, and as always, stay tuned for the next episode.